So we're on Kevin's boat. Its name is Quantum Dink. It's a 51-foot Beneteau, and I'll just give you a quick little tour of the salon and galley. Here's the stairs in, the nice table, benches you can slide in from both sides, nice mirrors, make it look nice and big, big open galley, and for the cabins, this is ours, which has the head, that also has a door that opens up into the room, the cabin. And here's our bed. Lots of portholes and hatches. There's really good airflow. 2 cabins at the back that are identical, and the master stateroom up front, but I'm not gonna go in there.
Our advisor for the day's name is Franklin, and now that he's on board, we can finally get going for day 2 of the Panama Canal crossing.
It's pretty rainy out today. We're all kind of soaked, but underneath the bimini we're pretty well protected.
We got Mike and Jenny here, all the way down from Australia, enjoying their canal crossing so far.
So before they built the Gatun Dam and flooded the Chagres River, there was actually a village that was in the valley that they had to relocate. And when they built the Panama Canal, the new one for all the huge ships, they had to relocate the village again. It's the Gatun Lake's just like crazy busy with a ton of dredging going on and tons of huge ships.
It's pretty crazy to think that we are currently on a boat on top of what used to be a valley.
We're about 3/4 of the way through Gatun Lake, and it's pretty cool.
Something that I found really interesting about the canal, as we were passing through, our advisor told us in the middle of Gatun Lake, where it looks like there are a bunch of islands, it's actually the hilltops and the mountain ranges popping out of the water. So that is really, really neat. So all of the hilltops, which are now islands, are really heavily forested. And of course, it being in Panama, we're always on the lookout for sloths and monkeys, and now ocelots as well. So of course the girls get out all of the one set of binoculars, and we take turns. We think we end up seeing a few monkeys, but we cannot confirm because they're pretty far away.
And look, here's the Panama Canal train that you can take a tour of the whole canal if you want to check it out, not by boat.
The advisor met us on the boat in the morning at what was supposed to be 7, but he didn't show up till 9 o'clock, so we had a late start. So we motored across the lake extra fast, but the 2 other boats couldn't keep up, so by the time we got to the next set of locks, we just had to wait for them anyways.
So it's pretty intimidating to be going through the canal just in such close proximity to the extremely large cruise ships and cargo ships, just in comparison to the size of like a 51-foot sailboat like the one that we're on.
There's just so many different boats, like so many different variety that you would never even want to be anywhere near out in the water. But here going through the canal, we're coming up right beside them and passing them.
Do you think all these boats here are pretty cool?
They're all pretty neat.
Diablo dos. To be able to cross it, you have to be able to do 5 knots continuously across the Gatun Lake. And if you can't go over 10 knots, then you have to go 2 days worth of traveling. But if you can go over 10, you can do it in one shot. But we couldn't go over 10, so we had to spend the night on the lake. So what the advisors were telling us is, if you have the most horsepower of the boats that are being rafted together, then you get to be in the middle, which means you don't have to handle the lines. So having more horsepower is more better.
It took us almost 5 hours to get through the whole lake.
We've been averaging around 7 knots while we've motored through the Gatun Lake.
There's a lot of different requirements to be able to cross through the Panama Canal, such as your boat having to do 5 knots. And you also have to have 4 line handlers on board, whether or not you're rafted in the middle or on the sides, because you don't know how the setup is going to be, so you have to have those people ready. It's also a requirement that you have an advisor on board, and you have to feed the advisor as long as they're there for more than 4 hours at a time.
And a captain on the helm.
Yes, obviously, a captain.
Got our lines all ready. Excited.
¿Lo viste, Letán? Ahí a la entrada. ¿Me lo lleva ahí? Ahí.
If the line misses you, Dale? If the line misses you, do you want me to help you get it or just film you get it? Okay. Don't try and catch it.
You are also required to have a lot of fenders on both sides of your boat. If you don't have the fenders, you can rent tires. I think it's $5 a tire, and they wrap them in plastic and then hang them on the sides of the boat. So the 2 boats we went through with both had the tires rented. And you have to have a lot of different lines available to run them from your boat to the side of the actual canal to loosen and let it go so that your boat doesn't go and hit the walls. And you can also rent those lines, which every boat did because they all had the exact same lines.
For $20 a line.
$20 a line. One of the boats had some issues with their engine overheating, so they weren't able to keep up. So it was just our boat and one of the other boats. So we just side-tied to each other, and then we got to line handle that day. Now that we're in position to go through the first set of locks, we are waiting for the cruise ship to pull in behind us because we're going to go through the locks in front of them.
So it's time to hurry up and wait, and then we're gonna get on our way and drop down.
Make sure you stay near the middle of the doors. Yeah, but we're going down fast. You're doing great, Dale.
We're going through our first set of locks today, which are the Pedro Miguel locks.
Since we're side-tied to only one boat, we need to have 2 line handlers on each boat. We already have 5, which means that 3 of us get to take a break. I'm going to go first, try out line handling.
Just saying how amazing you are.
So right now the lines coming from our boat are tied directly to the top of the locks. So once the workers let them go, we have to pull the lines in as quickly as possible because we don't want to get the lines stuck under the boat.
Good job.
Good job, yeah. Got that one on.
High five, everyone. Am I?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless somebody else wants to go next.
Here I go. I'm next.
Did I do the figure 8?
Just organize it.
Okay.
Now that we've gone through the first set of locks, we've entered Miraflores Lake, which is also part of the Panama Canal, another lake.
It's not as long, but they make us stay side-tied together as we go through it when they pick which lane we're going to go through the next set of locks. And once we're through there, that's it. We're in the Pacific then. At least the Pacific side of the Panama Canal.
Once we get to the other side of the Miraflores Lake, there are two workers ready to catch, or actually first they throw us what they call a monkey line, and then we tie our lines to it, and then he pulls our lines over to the side, and then that's what we use to line handle.
Yeah, and you're just supposed to hold it up and try and keep it out of the water so there's not too much drag on the worker.
Yeah, you don't want to end up accidentally pulling one of them in because you're not paying enough attention to your lines.
Don't swim in the Panama Canal.
When we were going through the last set of locks, we had the cruise ship behind us with hundreds, maybe thousands of people watching down on us, and then they had this big building beside us with stands set up, and it was filled with hundreds and hundreds of people watching us too. So we really didn't want to mess anything up. And it was windy.
Justin, we're going.
Now as the line handler, as the water is coming out of the locks, I'm working with the other line handler on the other boat to try and keep our boat centered in the locks as it's going down.
Yeah, you don't want your boat to hit the side, so you have to work in unison with the other boats.
The day started off really rainy, but it's really sunny now, and the wind's picked up quite a bit. And that combined with the massive current from the locks draining, it makes it real hard to hold the boats in the center of the lock.
Say something about the canal. Really loud.
Locks go way faster than I thought they would, but the whole process takes longer. It's pretty cool.
So at this point, everyone is getting a little anxious and excited because as soon as these doors open, we are officially entering the Pacific Ocean.
Hi guys! Hi.
We made it!
Well done, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice meal. Thank you.
Pacific, baby! This is the Bridge of America, which is very near and dear to our hearts because it is on the Panama beer can, and we really enjoy our Panama beer.
And here we have the Panama City skyline, which is pretty amazing to look at considering we've just seen a lot of Linton Bay lately.
Being outside all day without the chance to get away from the sun, I got really sunburned.
So now that the pilot boat's coming, the advisor is going to get off the boat.
It's pretty risque because they come right up to the side of your boat and he leaps onto his boat.
It's a little scary.
Thank you very much.
Adios!
That was quite a transfer.
So now that we've gotten familiar with Quantum Dink, and as well as Kevin and Gail, it looks like if all of our schedules align, we will be joining them for the Pacific crossing.
And we might sail all the way to the South Pacific, to Australia.
To Australia.
But yeah, we'll see if it works out. We'll know within the next couple weeks.
You'll know when we know. Why did you want to go through the Panama Canal?
To go to the Pacific and check it out because it's super cool.
What was your favorite thing about the canal?
Probably the lake in the middle. Just how big it was.
Would you like to say anything else?
The locks are super cool and full of rivets, and it's pretty cool that they're over 100 years old and still running. Don't put them on. You can't see your eyes and it freaks everyone out.
Perfect.
Your nose is red. Why'd you want to go through the canal?
Because it is an amazing engineering feat and it's something that came up as an opportunity, and of course I said yes.
What was your favorite part of the canal?
I didn't know anything about it really before, so we watched a 10-minute documentary. I learned a little bit, so then going through it was really exciting. And I really liked how the doors were. They're like really, really thick and old, and it's the original doors, so that was fun.
Well, the canal was a lot smaller than I thought it was actually going to be, and way less busy. I thought it'd be packed full, like crazy and super commercial, but it was just real old and small and real slow, but the locks drained way faster than I thought they would, so that was really cool.
So the Panama Canal was a lot bigger than I expected it to be. The locks themselves, I guess, were a little bit smaller, but the overall experience of the Panama Canal was just so much different than I expected.
So before we came down here and before we read about it and watched documentaries, I thought the canal was a real short section that just attached to each side, but it took us almost 2 whole days to cross it, and that was way different than I was expecting, with a huge lake in the middle.
Rats and chili. Yeah. Rats and chili. Oh.
Thank you for watching!
Join our amazing patrons in helping to support these videos at patreon.com/djsdives.
Give us the thumbs up and share this video with everyone.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment below to tell us what you think.
See you next week!